We're going to share with you guys everything. And on this particular episode, we're going to be talking about tariffs because that is what is on everybody's minds. We are going to share with you how we feel about it on the personal level, but also on the real estate side. And we are going to share with you what we just did just yesterday, what we were up to, and what we have experienced in real estate. Lots of good stuff here. Stay tuned, and we're going to get right into it, right? So, Eva, tell me, tariffs.
Tariffs.
Yeah.
They're on everyone's mind. I mean, Trump's talking about them. He says, like, they were going to come out on April's Fools, but he didn't want to think anybody to think it was a joke. So
yeah.
April 2nd apparently is when it's coming into place.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of buyers like, oh my gosh, is this going to affect my mortgage? Am I still going to be able to get approved? Are prices going to go up? Are prices going to go down?
Yeah.
I think this gets all the whispers started that almost happens whenever anything occurs in the news. It's like, oh my gosh, our market's going to crash. Like, homes are going to be worthless in a couple of months. Like, I'm just going to sit back and wait. And I think that's maybe the wrong move.
Yeah. I'd say definitely don't do that. I think this is a sweet spot for buyers to get in. You know what it reminds me, Eva? It reminds me of the beginning of, I hate to say it, I hate to say the word, but it is true, pandemic. You know, when people were talking about COVID, and it was like, oh my gosh, you know, that's it. We are doomed. We better just stay where we are. We had mortgage companies, lenders just like dropping fees and doing all these different things, right? Interest rates were dropping because, you know, for the government to stimulate economy. And now tariffs is the new monster and word that is being used. And you know, it just makes me think, like, you know, whether you're a business owner or you're an employee or what have you, you're just living your life, right? There's always going to be adversities. There's always going to be something that happens. And should you then say, forget it, I'm just not going to live life because this thing happened or that thing happened, meaning you're just going to make it into an excuse, a story to not go farther? Or are you going to use this as a way to like wake up and go for something big? And I think this is what makes or breaks people, you know, understanding that moment of opportunity. And when I talk about this, it's not just for buyers, it's like all together. You know, this is your opportunity to say, you know what, no matter what is going on the exterior, I'm going to control my interior myself and how I react to the situation. And, you know, if you are a buyer, you know what, it's kind of like you won the lottery. Like, seriously, like this is a time that you're like, wow, you can go for it. And, you know, this is your chance. So many people were like, I'm never going to be able to catch the market, but this is your chance, you guys. Go for it. And, right?
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for people while everybody's busy talking about tariffs. If you are listening to us, here's a nice little insider scoop for you. You go for it. This is a time. This is a time while everybody's thinking and busy and just like, not focus. This is a time that you get to focus and see what's out there. And you're going to get great deals, right?
Yeah. Especially if you're a buyer that's kind of already done like the first part where you're getting pre-approved and all this and that. Like if you're pretty much like pre-approved, ready to go, you have the money in your bank account, you're as good as gold. Everybody's looking for you right now. Right? And in the time of uncertainty, like we're certain what prices are right now. Mm-hmm. We're not certain what things are going to be in 2 or 3 months when kind of this uncertainty or speculation kind of sits into the marketplace. There are reasons why this would cause prices to go up. And the problem that's not going away in Ottawa, tariffs or not is that we have too many people here and too little houses. So I don't think that due to the tariffs, people are necessarily going to give up on their dream of home ownership, be dumping their house for $1, or whatever else the case may be. And I'm sure the banks don't want to have a bunch of foreclosed homes on their hands either. So I don't think they're going to be kicking people out in this time.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm really proud, I think, like tariffs, what's happened because of the tariffs. I feel a lot more the sense of like pride being a Canadian, you know? I mean, not until before this, we thought we're just like all together, you know, we're just like in North America, living life, you know, traveling wherever we want, back and forth from north to south to west to east, you know what I mean? But now it's like that line that Trump talks about a lot is like, oh, that imaginary line. Like that imaginary line has become that much more pronounced right now. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I am really proud of being Canadian. I'm very like, I'm proud to have what we have, to have the, you know, there is a direct, I would say there is a very, there is a definition between like Canadian, what makes Canadians Canadians, and like, you know, difference between Canadians and Americans. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
100%. I hear it from my friend all the time. It's funny because, well, she used to live in LA, and she says things like, you know, in LA, you could just tell people what you really think, and you could just say it.
Yeah, it's true.
So I guess Americans are a little bit more blunt than us Canadians. Yeah. We're just like, oh, let me scoop by ya.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned that. I was watching Doug Ford, and talking to my hairdresser. I was like, yeah, you know, Tom Ford. And he goes, Tom Ford. I'm like, wait a minute, what's his name? Doug Ford. So yeah, Doug Ford, he made an announcement yesterday where he's like, yeah, we're ready to retaliate. We're ready to like pull business from the States. We don't need your alcohol. We don't need certain things. We don't need Starlink. We don't need this, that. And I thought like, yeah, you know, I'm really feeling the pride. I feel this guy's like, you know, got our back. And I have to say, like, at the end of it all, then he goes, well, I'm really sorry. My apologies to our American friends. Like, and I thought, there it is, the Canadian, you know, very apologetic, very respectful. And, yeah, I think there's definitely a clear divide in terms of how we interact. Like there's a lot of thank yous and please, and you know, we try to like be mindful of what we say and how it's going to be perceived and how is it going to make us, you know, be represented out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're like overly kind,
overly caring about what could happen, how could this affect someone, and so on and so forth, mm-hmm. which is Canadian. Like, I mean, when you're at a stop sign, which is, by the way, very dangerous, people are like, no, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. It's like, dude, it's a 4-way stop sign. The first person that arrives goes. If not, if everybody arrives, it's like, you know, the right of way, right?
Yeah,
that's how you go. The one that arrived to the right is the one that goes first. As far as I remember, when I was doing my, you know, my my driver's test.
It is so funny, but also it's like even though I find like we're all really nice, like I think we're all nicer than Americans across Canada, there is some like divide. So I know I have family in Saskatchewan, and I remember them telling me, even as a kid, they're like, oh, you people from Ontario think that you're going to talk for us all. Yeah. You know, you city folk. I think that is coming out in this like 51st state debate because there is apparently don't consider me official news, but there's like this little town in Alberta that apparently wants to go and present why Alberta should be the 51st state, and I think that is so funny.
That is funny, and that is kind of I don't know.
I mean, shoot your shot. Go for your dreams if that's really...
I don't know. I think, like, the fact that the other thing that, like, the other thing that's crazy is that, you know, they just pulled all the alcohol, all the American alcohol from the shelves, which, again, like, I gotta say, like, makes me very, very proud. You know, I don't know if we should, we should talk about that. This is an opportunity for all the Canadian businesses to get in there, bring in your product, shine. And I always say, as a business owner, if you can survive, like think about it in the States, right? The best of the best are all Canadian. The best singers are Canadian. The best movie makers are Canadian, right? The best actors and actresses are Canadian. Like there is a lot of great, talent that's coming from Canada to the States, and, you can say, oh, like you got your people too, but think about it. Our population is so small. Our population is the size of, like California, I think. So, like, we have, 40 million people here?
Yeah.
And
like
so, that. Like, we are so small, yet we're producing such great talent. Why is that? Because if you can make it in Canada, you can make it anywhere. And no word of a lie. Like, the reason why, like, this is an opportunity because for the Canadian business owners, like, as a business owner, I see this as, like, as an opportunity. And I think that for Canadian businesses, like, think about it. If you are making wine out there, right? And I'm just using wine because we know what's happening right now at the LCBO, which is the Ontario alcohol distributor.
And also it happens apparently to be one of the biggest alcohol purchasers in the world.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize that Ontario had that kind of leverage. I didn't know we had such a problem with consumption. What is going on?
I mean, that could be good news and bad news at the same time. Like, what is that?
Gets us through the winter blues. That's why we're so nice.
Yeah, I have no idea. But the other thing could be that we just have great taste and we're willing to go all around the world to get the best of the best, and we're willing to pay for the best of the best. Like the consumers here, yes, maybe our population's like smaller, but our population is like, we know quality. You know what I mean? So it's really an opportunity for these like Canadians to really shine. Now put your wine out there. And you know what? If we start to drink some Canadian stuff, it might taste a lot better than the American counterparts, and because we are now allowing our stuff to shine, people get behind that, we're just going to get better and better. We want to just bring, pour more money, pour more whatever into it to get it to that quality that it needs to get to. You know what I mean? We just didn't have the support financially before because our first thing is to compete with the American products and the American businesses out there that do have a lot more resources. Why? Because if you are a business owner in America, they give you a lot of funding. You can find a lot of private funding, if not from, the banks. They have all these different tools to help support businesses. And so as a Canadian business that you get taxed a lot, like how much can you actually put into your marketing? the Americans can put a lot because they get a lot of funding to put into their business, and they can grow it, and they can go, in countries like Canada, Australia, and so on. But now, because Canadians maybe not have to put in that much into marketing, because now the Canadian consumers, who, by the way, want quality, will come after Canadian products, it's just going to maybe help us build this machine even better and bigger. So I'm really excited about what this will do. I think, diamond is built in under pressure, and that's what we are. Canada's the next diamond.
Yeah. I think that anybody that could step up the plate, rise to the opportunity. Maybe you've been somebody getting ready and you're like, I'm so ready, I'm just waiting for the opportunity to fall. This is it. I've heard people in the alcohol business discuss how difficult it was to get into the LCBO, that you have to get representatives, and it's a big process because they don't have that much shelves. But now all I see is empty shelves. Wow.
I know.
I'm not only thinking that, I'm going a little bit bigger. Let's get into the boring businesses. One business that I know is thriving here in Ottawa that I just happen to kind of know through people is he makes gaskets. You know what gaskets are?
No.
They're just these little thin rubber things to seal between, let's say, your lid and the rest of the thing. You have a little plastic gasket, whatever. So that's a business that's thriving. Is this something we usually normally get from the States? I don't know. Kind of sounds like it. I think that in Canada, we don't do a lot of our own manufacturing because we're kind of more of a service kind of country. So it's maybe people should be making Canadian screws, Canadian nails, Canadian everything. I don't know. This is just a prompt to the viewers. Think what you could do. Think what we need,
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's kind of similar-ish to when they put an embargo, because, I was born and raised right before I was a teenager in Iran. And Iran is the country that doesn't get anything. They put an embargo on Iran where they couldn't get anything from not only the United States, but a lot of the European countries. And if any country did any dealings with Iran, what would happen in turn is that they would get punished, or, they would get penalized and things like that. So essentially what happened was all these companies that were there at one point, they left. And so anytime they were to bring in any kind of goods from outside, there was this huge cost to bring goods inside. Think about electronics, cars, things like that. And so what happened was that it forced the Iranians to start building and reverse engineering all of these things. And at the beginning, it was so hard, because when I was a kid, it was just hard to even get, balloons, or decorations for different things like birthday parties and things like that. And Iranians, they love birthday parties. They go all out. They just have to decorate the whole house. I was always so excited when it was my birthday, because the whole house would look so pretty, all these different colors and things like that. So anyways, it was so hard. I'm saying just for decorations was hard. Getting diapers was hard. When I was born in the middle of a war. So there were no diapers. So they had to make their own diapers. I used to always be mad at my parents that, you use the American diapers or Pampers for my oldest brother, but when it came to my middle brother, well, he was kind of, he got a little bit of both. And then when it came to mine, it was the Iranian product. And I remember there was a video of me, I was a baby, and I was crawling, and all this cotton was coming out of my diaper. And I was what is this? And, my parents are well, this is it was the Iranian diaper at the time, because they didn't have the technology. But now my gosh, they build so many different things. I think they're one of the best countries to build drones around the world. Like drones, like how sophisticated is the technology with regards to that. So it just kind of like pushes you to build something because you're just not given it anymore. You know, It's easy to be given things, you know, like a child or someone. Like, you know, I've always heard my mentor say, like, I'm not going to give you just fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish. Mm-hmm. Because when you are taught how to fish, now you can survive. And my parents did that for me. My biggest mentor is my dad. He did that for me. My mom, she did that for me. I intend to do that for my kids. And I think that at this point in time, with the talks about tariffs and things like that, Canada's kind of waking up, and we've got beautiful talent here. We've got some of the most talented people in Canada that are ready to go to work and get things going. And just bring in value for the Canadians. And this is really, really exciting times.
Yeah. And just one thing in my mind that's kind of bringing both business in this different sense and real estate together is something that homeowners that maybe that haven't like just purchased now, but purchased in the past, you know, in their young life, maybe they have a couple years on them, they've had this home for a while, they've built some equity. Really wealthy people don't just use their homes to live in, but now they have some leverage that if you did want to take out a big sum of money and start a business, you could do that out of your house. Mm-hmm. So really, buying into real estate is a form to be more stable in the future, because I think we've seen in these past years, like there's always something going on. Like there's always some kind of crisis. Yeah. You know, and it just seems like if you already have a home, like you're set so much more apart and you're so much more secure, not because you have a beautiful mansion to live in or whatever it may be, but now you have this like line of credit, you have leverage, you have security, you have a place to live, like so much benefit.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefit to home ownership, and I think people see that. I remember the first time my family purchased a home here in Canada, and that's why like whenever we come across new immigrants, they just have like that special little place in my heart, because I go back to that moment of like, oh my gosh, how like we wish we could own a piece of something in Canada. And it's just so special. I think that there is a lot that you can do once you become a homeowner. I think you truly become Canadian when you are a homeowner. If you're an immigrant, obviously, if you weren't born here, because that's where you set your roots, really. That's where you start to grow yourself, your family's future. And so it's just so symbolic. But I'm going to change the gear into what happened yesterday, which was also really nice. By the way, if you're enjoying this, if you want to have more conversations about the tariffs, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure you put the comments below. Let us know if you guys are enjoying it by liking, subscribing, sharing with your friends and family. But yeah, so I'm going to change directions into what happened yesterday. How did you feel about yesterday? So yesterday we went into, why don't you tell the viewers what happened yesterday?
Yeah, so Anna got offered to speak at the women's conference. It was about women in real estate here in Ottawa. There was a bunch of different speakers, some even from the city, talking about the Ottawa official plans. And Anna got the chance to speak as a realtor, broker, owner, real estate agent, team leader. Everybody already knows what Anna does here on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I remember you got this offer when I was on vacation, and when I came back, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for you. And I encouraged you yesterday. I said, please bring up that you're an immigrant, like, because I want people to see themselves in you and kind of realize that you could come here to Ottawa and not have any kind of influence, no network, no nothing. You could even come to Canada and not speak the language, and like you could still make something out of yourself here.
Yeah.
And right after Anna spoke, there was somebody that came up to her and said that she is from the same place. And oh my gosh, I think she said, I'm so happy to see your success.
Yeah, what she said, well, she was speaking in Farsi. Looks like you're picking up some Farsi there with all of our Iranian clients. But like, yeah, she came up to me and she said, I'm from the same country. That part was in English. And then afterwards she went into Farsi because I wanted to show her that I do speak Farsi. And she said, you know what, it makes me so proud that, someone that came from the same place as I did with all the hardship that we've been through that has made it to where they have. And, to me, I think that's like the best thing. That's like the best feeling, because how I wish that I had the opportunity when I first came to Canada at the age of 12 to say, you know what, this could happen. This environment will allow me to be able to achieve all of these dreams and, whatever I'm hoping to have. You know what I mean? And whether, again, we're going back into home ownership or whatnot, but that's the beauty of Canada, because Canada provides that environment for us. We get free education, free healthcare. Sure, things are not perfect. There are certain things that could get better. But I think that now we really, really have the opportunity to do that. And I'm really glad you kind of pushed me. First of all, I'm really, really thankful that you came, because I can't tell you how much that meant to me. It's to just have, first of all, you've been here from the beginning of the team creation. So I'm really grateful to that you were there with me. But also the fact that, you're always ready to be there. You're not there to just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm there. You just go always out of your way, not just for me, for our clients, for the team. So I really, really appreciate that. I don't think I had the opportunity to say it. So thank you for coming yesterday and always bringing in your best. And, at times I think with the market shift, with all these different external circumstances, things are not moving maybe as fast as they should. But I can tell you, we have a great thing going, and we are just going to go forward and so much more from this, because we have a really nice foundation. But I'm also really thankful that you said, that's I feel so comfortable talking to you and saying, hey, you know what, this is what I plan on saying. And then you just give me such good criticism. You're yeah, you know what, this is what you should say, Anna, because people need to see that part. It's so easy to say, hey, yeah, you know what, I'm a realtor and here I am and this and that. I did this. But to really understand what is before all of that, what has happened before all of that. I have a tendency to not say what has happened before all of that. And so I've had even, my real estate coach sometime, last time I spoke with him, he goes Anna, what makes you you? Why is it that in the face of adversity, you're still smiling, you're still saying it's okay, it's fine, I'll figure it out. How do you do that? Who are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that, I think that's the piece that I fail to mention to people that don't know me. So anyways, I think that was really, really good. It was a great feedback for me, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I tell people that story. So really, really thankful for that.
Yeah, well, I obviously love to be there. I love to pretend I'm a photographer, jumping around, trying to get the shot, trying to, and it's also fun to send it to our whole team that's not here and be look what Anna's doing. And I feel lucky to be the one that is here in person. But also just whenever we talk to anybody, I just know that people on the other side, they're always wondering why couldn't it work for me? When I was just getting into real estate and I was watching all these training stuff, I'm oh, well, that person's in another marketplace. They're not here in Ottawa. Obviously that wouldn't work here. or, you know, they have something I don't have or whatever. And I just think like whenever we're talking about making it here, and obviously we don't just talk to be like, hi, like I'm amazing, I'm like successful. You want to be like, you could do it too, and that's why I'm here with a mic to try to
try to amplify that. You know, it's funny that, you know, you're talking what you're talking about, because yesterday I was looking through my phone, and I even posted it on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, an event that I went to within a week after my dad passed. And I had already prepaid for that event, and it was a big investment from my part, so I couldn't not go. And it was kind of good that I did go, because it took me away from the loss that I had felt. I should have felt. I would have probably like drowned in my in sorrow and grief. But that event, what's amazing with that is that it was an event that I went, and one of the speakers was Tom Brady. And I was looking at my videos yesterday, and I posted just one of the videos, which was when he was just introduced to the, you know, to everybody. And I was sitting right at the front. Again, I made a big investment to be at that event. It was prepaid. So I was there, and part of the reason why I wanted to be in an event like that and seeing people that have achieved like the craziest achievements that they could have in their own fields is because I am always curious about what is it that makes them so great? What is it that, you know, what is it that makes them them? They're human beings too, but what is it? What is that thing? And one of the things that they were saying, like he then talked about, which I'll put as you know, as my next clip, maybe tonight. He talked about team. He talked about, you know, the importance about culture of a team. And you know how long it's taken me to understand the culture of the team, because people come with their own ways, with their own, you know, thoughts and process, like whatever that their background. And they come in and they try to like sometimes impose their ideologies and their way of being into the team. You sometimes have great things, but sometimes it's like not so great things. So it's like a combo that you have. And one of the lessons that I got from there, and you saw a huge shift after that event where we started attracting great people to our team. Right? Did you see that, by the way?
Yeah, I felt that. But also, I don't get to see all the behind the scenes. I just get to see who made it.
Yeah.
So the ones that made it were good.
Yeah. But like for me, it was like, you know, it's one thing to have a team, but the culture of the team is important. And what he talked about is that a lot of the times people, doesn't matter, like he was talking about football, right? Mm-hmm. And football, he's like, there's some great players that are always like, you know what, give me the ball. Why didn't you give me the ball? And no, I'm really good. And it's like, listen, dude, I only have one ball to play with, and I'm going to give to as many people as I can. But at the same time, our goal is one thing, and to move this forward, to work as a team. And then the interviewer said, well, like, you know, it's like you guys have succeeded so many games, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, but that's the end result. That's what happens after all the pieces come together perfectly. All the players come together perfect. All the culture works out perfectly. Mm-hmm. And it's so much like ours too. Like the success, meaning whether it's like the number of transactions we do, or like, you know, how many people end up staying here, or like them getting what they wish to have, or like what they want to achieve in their lives. That's only the outcome after all these different pieces come together. And he was saying, like, you know, if you're a great player, I'm happy for you, good for you. I'm excited to beat you in the field, but with my team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's like, I am we may be just ordinary people, but we work really well together.
Yeah.
And I thought like that was a defining moment for me, because I was like, yeah, you know what? We don't need the people that think they're all that and they've got this big ego. And we do all of these different things. The stuff that I mentioned yesterday at the summit, at the Women's Summit, all of that has done. And like, I don't know if you saw people, probably, I don't know if you looked around when I was talking, but there are some people that were like they were like confused, and they were like in awe, like, oh my gosh, how could you do all of this? But it's like, it's not me, you know, it's a whole teamwork, you know, and we have people that believe in the teamwork, believe in the growth of the team, and the success that in your eyes are going to come they're going to come anyways. That's just the end result, you know? So
yeah, it is like definitely a whole team. If you were just looking at your Facebook page, you didn't know what was going on. It's like, oh my God, Anna's on at all hours of the night posting all these videos by herself. Does she ever work? How does she also have a podcast? How does she also, you know, but there's so many things to do behind the scenes. And one thing I was driving the car thinking about, like, we are all like strong people, and like we are who we are and all these things, but also like we are so like malleable, or like at the same time, like it is important the people that we surround ourselves with. I was just thinking about how I was talking to somebody on the phone. I think it was a builder's office, and after the phone call, and it's like, why are you talking like that? It was like, just because I was talking to somebody, I just mirror them. Like I don't even think about it.
Oh, like you're influenced.
I am influenced. Yes. And I think like I'm influenced, I'm easily sold. I'm a salesperson.
They say the best salespeople are easily sold too.
Yeah.
So if you're a great salesperson, you are easily sold to as well. But I hate the definition and the feeling that's attached to salesperson. You know what I mean? Like salesperson, people feel like, you know, at least for me, it's like, oh, that person made me do something that I didn't want to do. Mm-hmm. Right? But that's why I want to like dissociate us from salespeople, because I feel like we just like, we help people, you know, help them make that decision. Yeah. We consult them more. We, what's the right word I'm looking for?
Well, like you're looking for like advisor.
I know like some people use advisor. It's not necessarily advisor. It's more like we are,
I always think I'm a coach. Like, you told me you wanted to buy, and you may self-sabotage yourself in the process.
Is it a coach? I feel like it's more to do with, like, what's that word where you're, like, you're trying to, facilitator.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like we're
hands-off.
Yeah. Is it?
I don't know. I feel like we're so much more a mental game.
Yeah.
But a facilitator, it's like somebody will come to us and be like, I want to buy a home. Like, it's my dream. Like, I want a legacy, like wealth. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, I don't know, Eva. It's hard. It's a lot of money. And you're like, remember what you told me?
Therapist, facilitator, advisor. I've seen some become tradespeople too, like cleaner, carpenter, landscape.
I know. I know.
So it's like all around. But so anyways, I don't know if we have enough minutes into our
day today. Gotta go.
Yes, I know you gotta go. So I think that we'll just leave it there, and then next week we'll talk about the next segment that we wanted to talk about, which is some of these things that we see as realtors in the middle of transactions, or when we're out and about with people that just are special to realtors alone. Like, it doesn't happen in any other kind of work, which maybe you know, you can say they're either weird or they're uncomfortable or what have you. So we're gonna and like right away I know like it's just like popping in your head.
I know. I'm like, or people are overly comfortable.
Yeah.
Which makes
awkward.
me uncomfortable.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that next week. But hey, you guys, thank you so much for allowing us to share with you some of our thoughts about what is going on out there. We really appreciate your support. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of you. If you found this interesting, if you found this entertaining, make sure you share it with your friends and family. Make sure that you give us some thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And more than everything and anything, we love feedback. We're all about feedback. Thank you so much. And make sure you join us next week.
Bye.